let's just jump right in and challenge literally everything you thought you knew about the jungle's ultimate apex predator. You know, when we picture the deep jungle, we immediately think of raw, untamed power. And sitting right at the absolute top of that unforgiving food chain, the tiger. Unstoppable, totally fearless, and capable of taking down absolutely anything in its path, right? Well, actually, scratch that. The truth is way more complex, and honestly, a whole lot more interesting.
There's this saying that hits the nail on the head when it comes to our assumptions. It goes like this. Everyone thinks a tiger can kill any animal in the jungle, but they're wrong. It's a pretty bold statement, right? But it instantly shatters this universally accepted myth we all buy into. We just naturally assume total invincibility when we're talking about a creature this powerful. But as it turns out, nature has a very strict way of checking egos. As we're going to see, true survival in the wild isn't just about flexing the most raw strength. It's actually about knowing exactly which battles you need to just walk away from.
I mean, just think about the sheer physical mismatch here. On one hand, you've got the mighty tiger, a beast tipping the scales at hundreds of pounds of pure coiled muscle, packing massive fangs and killer predatory instincts. And on the other hand, the relatively small, slow, kind of unassuming porcupine. It's basically the ultimate David versus Goliath dynamic playing out in real life. And yet, the tiger, the undisputed king of its domain, will actively, and I mean literally go out of its way to avoid this little creature whenever possible.
So, to really get why, we need to look at what the porcupine is packing. Hundreds. That's the magic number. A porcupine might look totally harmless from a distance, maybe even a bit clumsy as it waddles through the underbrush, but its body is armed with hundreds of razor-sharp quills. And we're not just talking about thick hairs here. These are highly specialized keratin-coated weapons. Imagine hundreds of rigid, incredibly sharp needles that evolution has spent millions of years perfecting, designed to just pop off on contact and sink into flesh with terrifying ease. Now, when it's threatened, the porcupine knows it can't outrun a tiger. Like, no way, that would be impossible. Instead, it pulls off this flawless, highly calculated defensive move. It just turns its back, and boom, instantly raises those hundreds of razor-sharp spikes. In a fraction of a second, it goes from being a potential easy snack to a literal fortress of pain. It creates this impenetrable, living shield that makes it an incredibly dangerous and, frankly, super unappealing target for any predator.
But what happens if the tiger just ignores that living shield? Well, if a tiger attacks carelessly, maybe because it's starving, or just young and arrogant, it sets off a totally devastating chain reaction. First, the tiger strikes, and those barbed quills embed deep into its most vital hunting tools. We're talking the face, the paws, the chest. And since the wild is a dirty, unforgiving place, those deep puncture wounds, they don't just magically heal. Over time, they quickly become severely, dangerously infected, which leads to the fatal conclusion. The infection and the sheer agony make it practically impossible for the tiger to hunt, to walk, or ultimately, to survive. So one singular careless strike literally turns into a lethal biological chain reaction.
And guys, this isn't just some made-up, theoretical scenario. Wildlife experts and conservationists working out in the field actually see this grim reality all the time. They frequently find injured tigers with dozens of quills stuck deep inside their bodies. It's a really stark, sobering reminder of what happens when you mess up your risk assessment. Out in the jungle, there are no vet clinics, no antibiotics. A seemingly minor physical altercation with the wrong prey can easily turn into a slow, agonizing death sentence, even for the most formidable predator on Earth.
Which brings us back to a really fascinating question, right? So what is the world's most powerful predator actually afraid of? I want you to really think about that for a second. Is this massive, majestic tiger fundamentally terrified of a small, waddling rodent? Like, is it the porcupine itself that's haunting the apex predator's instincts? Well, here's the crucial twist. It's afraid of making one mistake. Just one. And this completely flips our traditional understanding of apex predators right on its head. The true terror for the tiger isn't the prey. The porcupine is literally just an animal. The real terror is the fatal error in judgment. It's this deep, hardwired evolutionary understanding that, in such an unforgiving environment, a single split-second lapse in calculating risk versus reward can cost you absolutely everything. It is such a brilliant, ruthless lesson in risk management straight from the natural world. I mean, even a tiger, with all its immense power, blinding speed, and lethal capability, thinks twice before attacking. It pauses, it evaluates the true cost, and honestly, more often than not, it chooses to just walk away. It really makes you wonder about the complex jungles we navigate in our own lives every single day. What are the small, seemingly harmless risks in your path that might carry hidden, devastating consequences? What mistakes are you avoiding